Hey everyone, welcome. Dr. Glassmoyer here. It's a beautiful and yet cloudy Monday morning in Scottsdale, and I'm doing this video in response to requests from many of you to talk about narcissistic triangulation. So what is it? What is triangulation? In the simplest sense, triangulation is when a person in an interaction, rather than speaking directly to the other individual involved, goes and pulls somebody else in. Think of it on the, let's say the middle school playground, gossip. Gossip is the worst form of triangulation. There isn't anything constructive there. Rather than going to the person and saying, hey, I have this issue with you. Hey, I want to talk about this. There's a problem. They go and garner support for their position against this person. So in the early days of a relationship with a narcissist, when the love bombing is going on and he's over the top courting you and telling you you're so amazing, listening to your every word, hanging on your every word, really learning you, learning your vulnerabilities, stand by, ladies, because those vulnerabilities will be used against you. And as unbelievable as it may seem, even during this time, where he's telling you how amazing you are and he's treating you so fantastically, there's a good chance that he's talking about you to his guy friends, to maybe members of his family in ways that are less than complimentary, making himself look like the good guy who's just really tolerating this, let's call it humanity, in another person. So what triangulation does is it allows him to build a case against you when you don't even know that a case is being built. So many people in going through breakups and divorces from narcissists come to me so distraught because the people that they believed were their friends and family have been systematically turned against them. This guy who comes across as Mr. Nice Guy, sometimes Mr. Perfect, has been talking about all the ways that he's been so harmed by this person. So right about when you need support, when you need other people to be there for you, you find out that he's been talking about you all along and in fact turning people against you. He may do this acting as though he needs help. He needs to understand you better. He needs them to support him because he's putting up with this difficult stuff. Case in point, let me give you an example. For years, this person would say to his wife, you know, I think it is absolutely terrible when a couple talks about each other in a negative way to other people. It's such a betrayal. It's so awful for people to do that. Agreed. It is. If we have a problem in our primary relationship, if we have a problem with our boyfriend or our husband or wife or whomever, being true to that relationship, to the commitment of that relationship, we need to go direct. We need to be able to have the tough conversations. We need to be open and honest. We need to communicate with one another. Well, this very same person was apparently talking about his wife in a way to his friends and family that they got a very, very negative impression of her. And one day in the midst of an argument, he says, you know, all of my friends, all of my family, you know what they call you? They call you the taker. Okay. So this guy whose friends and family were not even in the same geographical vicinity, how did they get this impression of his wife being a taker? Well, we know how. They got the impression because of what he was saying. He would get on the phone and say whatever he wanted, true or not, about the person that he was telling every day, telling her that he loved her, telling her he was true to her, telling her it is so awful when people talk poorly about their spouse to others. It's exactly what this guy had been doing. So when his friends and family all saw her to be, quote, the taker, it's because that's the way that he presented her to him. In fact, in this particular situation, couldn't be farther from the truth. And he was, in fact, the one who was doing the taking. So triangulation is very dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional when we know about it. You know, when the guy will say, you know what, I was talking to Mary and she thinks that you're ridiculously jealous. Okay, he told you. Where did Mary get that impression? Directly from him. The worst, though, with the narcissistic abuser is that most of the time you have no idea that it's going on. He can be behind your back talking to his old girlfriends, to new supply, to people that he's schmoozing, to you name it. And he's talking about you in a way to make sure that if anything happens in the relationship, he looks like the good guy. He was the victim. One thing we know about narcissistic abusers is that they are super victims. So they go from this grandiose need for admiration, top of the world, godlike, to super victim in a heartbeat. And they'll swing back and forth using information that you gave them during the time where they created what appeared to be a safe enough environment to where you opened up to them. And believe me, any of those things to this person would be fair game to use against you. Those and many lies made up, whatever that person needs to do to get back at you if you have broken up with them, if you have moved on with your life, if you've chosen to do no contact, stand by, because there's nothing that pisses a narcissist off worse than that. So I hope that this begins to answer your questions on triangulation. Basically, really simple. The communication should be direct between you and the person you're in a relationship with, no matter what the stage of the relationship. Triangulation is when somebody else is brought in. It could be an individual, it could be a group of people, but they are brought in to support the narcissist and his position, true, false, whatever, however he presents it to them. And let me tell you, they're good at schmoozing you. They're good at schmoozing other people too. So I hope you have a great week. I'll look forward to seeing you next time. We'll talk more about triangulation, dysfunctional communication, and the mind games that are so painful if you are either in a relationship with a narcissist, pondering leaving in the relationship with a narcissist, or on your way out or have left. This stuff is dysfunctional and difficult, and you are, by design, their target. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.